Tatsukayo, Seikwa Sista. Today we're going to go over pretty much what we've been going over. So here is the way I use um, washing my hands. Now there are different ways we could use washing our hands. Um, these are all options that the speaker has the power to control. So if you don't have bar soap, like I have bar soap, and you don't need to put the bar soap down, you can totally get rid of this one, or you can move this one, right? You can move this one to right below, right? I grab the soap, then I put the soap down because then you're pretty much done with the action, and then you can move into washing your hands, right? So there are options on what you want to do as a user, and depending on what you want to do, we have the language for it. We can, if you really want to be that descriptive, or I'm going to grab the paper towel, I'm going to turn the paper towel, I'm going to use the paper towel to turn the faucet off, right?
Really?
Yes, there are wording for that. And a lot of it comes from grab, grasp, instrument for. So in this case, it would be quadad, quosid, uh, t, tukad, right? You hear that the instrument for, and this is just the nouns and verbs and prefixes and affixes and suffixes on it.
What affix? Did you say affix?
Nouns, verbs, prefixes, suffixes, and uh, it's the one that goes in the middle. The prefixes before, suffixes afters, and affix. Well, what was that thing that goes in the center? Is that affix? I don't know. Yeah, I've completely. I think it starts with an A. Affixes. I don't know. Too much into this stuff right now. I mean, I like to know this information. Do we need to know what an affix is, an affix is to use this language? We do not need to know this to use the language, right? Is it nice to know? Yes. Is it necessary? Not exactly, because when you think about it, I think the 12th is an affix because you got your and then your quash, right? And then the quash is the root word, and then you have your. I don't know how to say that one would because that's not the middle part. Achid, achid is the Achi is the main root word, not the affix. Affect, affect. I don't know. This is where it would be nice to have Viscally because it could be able to say it a little bit better. Well, all right. When we get down to it, what we're trying to do is we're trying to reclaim the language for everyday life. Now, is it normal for us to go to a sink and say, okay, I'm going to turn the sink on. Okay, I'm going to grab the soap. Okay, after I grab the soap and wash my hands. All right, now I'm going to rinse my hands. Now I'm gonna scrub my hands, right? No, that is not what we normally would do in English, right? I don't think I've ever heard anybody do this in English. They might say it in their head, but they're not saying it aloud. So the positives and negatives of this. Negatively, you're describing what you were doing aloud, and the positive is that you are using your language. You're reclaiming that activity, the Lushootseed language activity, into the language. And why not start with washing your hands? How many times do we wash our hands in a day? I wash my hands in a day a lot. There's a lot there, especially during these COVID times. I like having clean hands. Derek, do you like having clean hands?
Yeah.
So we wash our hands regularly. If we can reclaim this activity in the language, it, even though it might take 20 to 30 seconds to wash our hands, at 20, 30 seconds for the language to survive, that language to be used. And that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring back life into this language. Now, again, is it normal? No, it's not normal. But eventually, after listening to what's said and then you trying to use it the best of your ability, eventually you'll start hearing the word correctly. I had a student of mine. Um, we use this term. It is a Snoqualmie term. We yachts, right? Means hello. Well, we use it as hello from now, but in the olden days, it was to announce yourself loudly in the woods, right?
To
So
not in the woods.
announce yourself loudly in the woods.
Huh.
It's like hello bear, the first hello bears out there. Hello bear, we are kind of thing.
Huh.
So that when we come across new travelers or we're scaring off bears, it turns out to be that they're the bears won't get freaked out too much and won't charge an attack. Or or we hear a response of we yachts back to us, and which means there's friendlies out there, right? And we're gonna go catch up with our friends. Because how is it was explained to me? Um, I come from the Watson Martin line through Snoqualmie, and that's how come we are using um, we yachts here at SOC. Watson Martin's daughter, Josephine Martin, married James Brown, and I come from the Brown line, and that's how I get connected to Snoqualmie. So we are using it because family lineage brings me that direction. And we didn't have a outside of Eschalcha. I mean, really, really, what's shorter? We odds are Eschalcha or Eschalcha. I mean, try to yell out Eschalcha. I mean, your and are not going to be as pronounced as we odds, right? It won't carry as far. So, yeah, I think that get me thinking. So we have this word. It's weots, right? My student says quiots, like qui instead of we. So I didn't correct him for a year, an entire year. I did not correct him. He used it, and that was the most key important thing to do, because right when I started writing it down for him to read, right, he was all like, "Am I saying that saying wrong? You taught me that saying. Am I saying it wrong?" I was like, "No, yes, but you're using it right." And that's the key. You're using the language. And now the student of mine, he says weots all the time. And he says it perfect, perfect. So eventually we got to go through this whole idea. I'm thinking um, there has to be only one right. We got to get rid of that. There's no one right way. When our language is a mimicked language or a descriptive language, we either mimic the sounds or we described on what the action was doing. Right? We mimic the sounds of the ocean and we named the ocean what it is. We mimic the sounds of a crow and we called the crow and the birds and even the water and in the winds, right? You'll sit there and to find this information out the hard way, you got to slow yourself down and connect yourself with your natural environment. And once you do that, you'll start hearing the earth speak around you. You will hear hush for the tree. You'll hear hulch by the ocean. You will hear ka, 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 crow. You will hear all these other things in nature around you, and they will all start speaking Lushootseed to you. Now, it works here in the Pacific Northwest, or definitely in our region. To slow yourself down, you'll hear it. It doesn't always work everywhere, right? But definitely one of those things where it's in this region only. I can hear it. So it's just one of those things. I mean, we gotta use what we have and don't be afraid to using it and saying it wrong and just start using it, because eventually we will continue hearing it and we're going to hear it, or we're going to say it wrong but we're using it right. But eventually we're going to get corrected and we got to be open to that correction, and then we'll start saying it right from there on out. All right. Awesome.
Awesome.
So it's been here for millennia. You will be here for millennia. You will not be able to kill the language. I swear. I swear you won't be able to. But just use the language. So, in doing so, let's wash our hands. Go act along if you want. You can act along if you want. So it's just one of those quaff chud ti quo quadrado chud ti duftagoso aqua chibaf chud chibaf chud. And then in doing so, counting down to 20. So there's two ways of doing count to 20. You can count 1 through 10 twice, or you can go 1 through 20. And that's where this part comes in. We got Dutcho, Solly, Do, Bos, Salat, Galats, Chokes, Takachi, Wall, Olo. Right? Now, I know there's a southerner here. So Yalats would get changed. No, that's 6 changes. And Takachi changes. Right? Outside of that, Hol and Olub or Olub changes. Olub is Padats, Salat, Zalachi. Zalachi would be 6. Takachi, Chokes. Where is that big ugly book? I don't know. Oh, hey, move my big ugly book. Oh, I guess I'll fix that later. Well, those are the ones that changes. And We're not making soup. So apparently I don't know where that's at. There. Let's just go through with the northern Lushootseed first. We'll come back around to southern Lushootseed at a different date when I find out what they are, and we'll just go from there. So, like I said, there are two ways on count of 20. You can go Dutcho through Olub twice, or you can go through Dutcho through Saliachi, and then you'll count. So, as you see, Lushootseed does 10 and then 1, right? 10 and then 2, 10 and then 3. So is it going through 1 through 10 twice? Yes, but you're saying Olob or Parats. Parats into Dutcho, Parats Sali, Parats into right? Olo biti Dutcho, Olo biti Sali, Olo biti Olo biti Pos, Olo biti Salats, Olo biti Yelats, Olo biti Chokes, Olo biti Takachi, Olo biti Hol, Saliachi, right? Or we can go Dutcho, Sali, Fuf, Booth, Salats, Yalats, Chokes, Takachi, Hol, Olob, and do that twice. Up to you. If you want me to email this to you, go ahead and send me your email in the chat box. I will email this out to you.
Yeah.
So we count to 20. We set the soap down. The chada, chud, tea, wilsum chud. And again, this is for bar soap. I use bar soap myself. So it's one of those things. Utsag, achiba chud, right? Utsag, Achibaf Chud, Cheeb Chud, Oots Aug, Acheeb Chud. I keep on wanting saying Boff on there, but it's no Boff. Oots Aug, Acheeb Chud, Oots Aug, Cheeb Chud. The is the part for the rebuilding, continuing the story, right? But because we started one action in the actual of the washing, we switch it over to rinsing, which is a completely different action. Even though if it's the same action, it's a completely different action. So we use O in this part. O is not used for present tense or tense situation. With what Dr. Eswali Zalmai Zaire dissertation on elements of grammar, he went over and said O, which was a present tense marker to a past tense marker, is now no longer a tense marker. Right? O is now a new idea, a new action. New idea, new action, new paragraph, something new that's not part of the same action. It's a different action. That threw me off when he said that because I had to redo a lot of different things because I used O and everything.
So you use O every time you start a new action?
Yes. It's no longer a tenses. It's no longer a tense. It's no longer past to present tense. No. I'm here now, but I was at home kind of thing. It's now, okay, I'm here now. Right? More of a, okay, let's start a new thing. I'm here now. We're going to put that stuff aside, but I'm here. Right?
And it's only for actions? Wait,
New
what the-
ideas. He made that very clear to me. It's for new ideas. Did I put it on here? Oh yeah. Central information, important, vital information coming up, or new ideas. Or a new train of thought, a new idea, a new something different than what we were doing. We were washing our hands, and now we're rinsing our hands. Even though if they're in the same act, if they're in the same action, they are completely separate, different things. See what I'm saying? Because you see it wash, achib al chud. It's continuing the action of using the soap and your hands together. And then oats agua chiba chud. Now you're getting rid of the soap on your hands, right? So it's a completely different thought on, yeah, let's continue, keep adding soap, right? Two, let's add soap. Now we're rinsing it off. Now it's a different idea, different action, different, something different, right? And in one of my earlier ones, you will see it prevalent in any of my other conversations. So let's just jump ahead to one of the eating food questions, right? You'll see o ushin chud uta, o ushin chud uta, right? O ushin chud uta, o ushin chud uta, right? You'll keep seeing that, but this is where SOE said you have to change this. You say it once, the o ushin chud uta, then you switch it out and go up. Up, up. Yeah, up. That's right. That's what it was. You'll switch it out to up, right? So O Ashad Uta Bias Ashad Af Chad Uta Zabi, right?
What's that mean?
I ate meat and then I ate vegetables.
Huh.
Side dish. After I ate the side dishes, I ate a sandwich. And then I ate a pizza. Instead of, oh wait, here's a new idea. Well, let's switch out that new idea and add, and then I ate, after I ate the pizza, I ate berries. See, it just continues to build the story. And yes, that is all the potatoes in the dictionary. I went and grabbed a dictionary. I went and grabbed both dictionaries. The old, big old one
Mm-hmm.
and the newer one. And I went through and found all the potatoes. Those are all the different potatoes. They all it did say was this word potato, this word potato. And it didn't say what kind of potato it was. It just said potato. Sure, all the different nouns of food. And again, I went to the dictionary. I was all like, okay, what's food? What can you eat? What can you eat? You can't eat that. Can't eat Chinese slippers. Oh, but there is something for this. Okay, let's try to eat dolly food. Sweet Chinese food. Now, I wouldn't say let's use that for all Chinese food and all Asian food. It's kind of racist. Uh, but I'm just gonna keep that there just because it's we're on a reservation and everybody knows what you're gonna do when you go eat Chinese food. You're gonna go eat Chinese food, yeah, right? So there is that. Chai eat dolly. Oh, did you want this too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I'll send this to you as well. Is there
can
anything in here you want to go over?
can you explain the when you stop using the
Ah,
or
ah,
like or the
the
when you
O.
the O and the
Yes, yes, I can. Okay, so when you're building a story, right, you have um, your person, place, and thing, your other person, place, and thing, your other person, place, and thing in a storyline, and then you start a new paragraph. That's when you would want to use the O, right? So in this case, oh, I ate meat, and then I ate vegetables, and then I ate a sandwich, and then I ate a pizza, and then I ate some berries, and then I ate some potatoes, right? So this is one complete thought, right? Now, if we switch it over and say, oh, I ate, oh, now I'm drinking, right? And this is a completely different action, right? So we wouldn't be using O or ah, would use O, right? O kokwachud ta quo kokwachud o kokwa af chud ta ku, right? And I didn't fix it on this one. Oh, I'm not sharing that one. Sorry, I got excited. So we go from eat and from we finish the eat, and then when we start drinking, and that's when we would use the O, right? And then we'll move to off on the drinking part. And then
so so eat and drink are two different ideas.
yes,
Oh, huh.
yeah, because we're kind of on the same idea and same train of thought, but we're not at the exact same idea and train of thought. If you would take a test with me, and if I were to grade you, I would be like vital information coming up. I'd be like, know this for sure, right? I would make that abundantly clear that this is vital information, central information. is to follow. And that's the idea about this, is that your train of thought isn't complete every time you have this O, right?
Oh, wait, it is or it isn't?
It is. Every time you say O, it's a complete train of thought.
Huh.
So in storytelling, for an example, Jack and Jill went up the hill, uh, right, to whatever, and then you would say "oh" at the first part of that story, and then after you start a new one, like old Jack and Jill went up the hill, da 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 da, to file or whatever, and Jack went up the hill and bumped his head, right? You would keep that train of thought, and then you'd say off, off, and off throughout the entire story. Then you go to a new story or a new rhyme. There was an egg who decided to sit on top of a bridge and fell down and cracked his head, and everybody tried to get see. Everybody tried Humpty Dumpty. Oh, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Oh, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Right? It's a complete train of thought on that. And in doing so, when you're having these complete train of thoughts, um, this is the best way to explain it right now. Screen share, your screen. All right. So the best way to explain this is that I I am doing this action. I went to go buy this action, and then I went and bought, and I bought, and I bought, and I bought, and then new idea, new different train of thought. I'm done buying now. I'm moving into now drinking, right? And here all the stuff I drank. Oh, right, new idea. Now I'm eating, right? This is all the things I ate. Oh, new idea. These are all the places I went, right?
Mhm.
You see this pattern out now better, a little better.
Oh yeah,
You can see these.
yeah.
Yeah. So each one of these would be a different train of thought. Each one of these would have their own complete different um,
Okay.
paragraphs, right? Oh, I started texting this person, and then somebody came and talked to me, right? Oh, and then I seen, right? Oh, and then I went. I went here.
What if what if you're telling a story of what you ate on 2 different days?
You
Would
would go
oh
to
time?
mark the first one, the first day, and then you'll use O to mark the second day.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because you completed the action, and then you're going to complete the action. And then if you do it more than, like, was it 7, 8 times, it becomes habitually. So say you go to a coffee stand at 9 o'clock in the morning all the time, no matter what's going on, whether it's a weekend or weekday, that becomes an habitual action. Then it goes from O to Hlu. So you're going to continue going to this coffee shop at like 9 o'clock, no matter what.
Hmm.
Or if you're like Sheldon Cooper, who goes to the bathroom all the time at 9 o'clock, you know, it doesn't have to be nine. It's just, you got a set schedule. You're going to habitually go there that point in time. Then it goes into flu, right?
Who's Sheldon Cooper?
Big Bang Theory. He's just the main character on Big Bang Theory. And now young Sheldon. There, quit picking on me.
Um, I know you didn't talk about it, but can I ask when does two get thrown in?
Ah,
Is that like habitually, but an old habit?
no, that one would be long time ago, way beyond 7-10 days for certain. Anything beyond 7-10 days ago becomes two. And then that's how come whenever you hear speakers tell an old story, they go, "All tooty too hot," right? A long, long time ago, and that's how they would say it. A long time, long, long time ago. That's where we would use our too.
Hmm. That clue part was interesting though. For
I can't
huh?
prove that yet.
Huh?
I can't prove that yet. I am not all the way through Zolomai Zair's big dissertation, and that's he's it's very it's very well thought out for a linguistical standpoint on if you've been using and studying the language for an X amount of years, you'll start understanding, but it won't help you teach the language. It won't help you use the language on a daily basis. It's good information to have, but it's not something I would say for any newbies to start getting into. Um, because it's kind of a really dry read if you're not excited on what the heck prefix and affix is. Affix, affix, affix.
Like a fix?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
oh
Because that stuff gets boring if you're not really wanting to tear apart the language. Because if you're already at that stage, which I believe you are, and this will help you out a bit, but for everybody else that's new, I don't see it helping anybody out because they won't need that information. All they need to know is quaff, quaff, chud, quote. I'm turning the water on. I'm turning the faucet. That's the important key information for them. Now, after 5 to 7 years, then they can start breaking it out. After they start saying it correctly. Now, it doesn't have to take 5 to 7 years. You know, I mean, I know you grew as an individual really quickly in the language, and you can start tearing apart the language with quaff, and quaff means to cause something to pour, right? So, or in that instance, so it, wait 5 7 years, and again, I'm not talking to you at this point in time. I'm still recording, so let's wait till we get off recording to finish talking about that. But yeah, like I said, Derek, he's been working on the language for a while now. He knows and understands a lot of the language and how it works, and definitely wouldn't try to be at his level right now. And that's how come we kind of do a lot of we did a lot of talking in this because I knew he knows this language, and I can just email him everything I have, and he'll know how to say it.
huh.
All right, in that case, hoi. Again, I'm just turning off recording. Hoi.